Why is it called Knight's Law with a K? Given that your protagonist Saberman is a werewolf, Knight's Law without a K would make more sense. Yep, today I'm adding Knight's Law from the Rare Collection 1 to my ever-growing list where I rank every Evercade game ever. Originally released in 1984, Knight's Law is the third game in the Saberman series. It is also the first of Ultimate Play the Games to use the Filmation engine, which is the game engine that powers the isometric action of Knight's Law and many similar games they did after. Don't know why I paused then. Anyway, Knight's Law was a very influential game on the ZX Spectrum. I don't know if it's the first isometric 3D platformer puzzle type game, but many certainly followed, from Ocean's Batman to Gunfight or Head Over Heels, Movie and many others. It's often held up as a classic among the ZX Spectrum lineup, and it is one that I played back in the day and I did enjoy. Although I never finished it or really knew what I was doing, I enjoyed going through and solving the puzzles as best I could. So when it came to the Evercade, I was looking forward to giving it a try again and finally beating it. Anyway, the story of the game is it follows on from Saberwolf and, I guess Saberman got bitten by the Saberwolf and became a werewolf. And in the game you have 40 days and nights to cure yourself of lycanthropy, or lycanthropy, or however you say it. Anyway, you have to gather ingredients for the cure, put them in a cauldron and cure yourself. Sounds simple, but it's really not. Anyway, let's go through and break it down in the usual manner, starting with the
graphics.
The ZX Spectrum was never a graphical powerhouse. It was never designed for games. So while nowadays the game doesn't look like much, it was a technical marvel. And even today I think the monochrome isometric graphics still look good and have a charm to them. And considering the limitations of the hardware, they do a remarkable job of making everything readable and giving it all a bit of character. Maybe it's me and having grown up with the ZX Spectrum, but I do think there is a sort of timeless charm to them. Yeah, that's probably just me.
Sound.
Being an early ZX Spectrum game, one designed for the 48K Spectrum, which pretty much just had a bleeper, the sound is, it's not particularly great. You've got a constant footstep type sound, a beep when you jump, a beep when you pick up items, and a noise when Saberman transforms into a werewolf. It's not the most pleasant on the ears thing, but again, very much the limitations of the hardware. But yeah, this is the weak point of the game for certain.
Gameplay.
You guide Saberman through over 100 isometric rooms, solving puzzles, collecting items to create the cure, and so on and so forth. The controls are simple. Move up, down, left and right across the screen, jump and pick up items. There's no attack, so enemies have to be avoided. Every night Saberman will transform into a werewolf, and that can change enemy behaviour. Most rooms have a sort of puzzle to them, be it spatial reasoning with trying to work out what you can jump over, or whether you need to use objects to reach other things, or if you need to push blocks, time jumps, and so on and so forth. Some of the rooms may even have you scratching your head trying to work out how to get to a certain item or how to get past them. Especially as the game doesn't hold your hand or tell you what you need to do, you've got to work that stuff out for yourself. You've got a limited amount of lives, a time limit, some difficult puzzles and pixel perfect jumps. The game is not easy. Well, that's good because if it was easy, you'd probably breeze through it quite quickly. It's not an overly long game. But between trying to work out the puzzles, the slight randomization and the difficulty, it'll take you a while to master. Naturally, part of the difficulty comes from managing the jumps in the isometric view. But I think that's a problem with almost every isometric platformy type game that's ever been made. And for the most part, it's not too much of an issue here, but there are a few times where it could frustrate or lead to a death. Now on the other, it's more manageable thanks to save states. But I think even with save states, it provides a bit of a challenge.
Overall opinion.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest, going back to Night Law, I really thought I'd like it more now than I actually do. As while the game is technically impressive for the Spectrum, it doesn't perform that well. The speed of the game, well, there's quite a bit of slowdown here and there with the pace adjusting. I suppose as the original hardware couldn't really keep up with things and it's emulated accurately. But that's not why I didn't like it so much as I expected. I think much of that comes from it being a pretty obtuse and unforgiving game, and I struggled to push myself on to finish it. So while it was technically impressive for the year it came out and for the hardware, and while it is pretty iconic and undoubtedly a classic for the Spectrum, I didn't really find myself enjoying it all that much, but I am glad to have finally finished it. Also, coming back to why it's called a Knight's Law with a K, apparently it's a pun on the whole knight thing, and the idea is that Saberman is like a knight errant, as although he's not called a knight in game, he's a wandering adventurer on a quest, travelling through ancient places, jungles and castles, seeking a cure for his curse. So he fits the archetype of a knight errant from medieval folklore. Anyway, I suppose I should get on with the
ranking.
So, placing Night Law on my ever-growing list where I rank every Evercade game ever, I've elected to put it above Cobra Triangle, but below Pitfall 2, placing it at 196 out of 429 games that I've ranked so far. Anyway, that's everything for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.